All right. Hello. We are live. Just double check everything. There we go. I had my monitor kind of in the wrong little spot here. I'm trying to change up one of my monitors in the studio. Anyhow, not important. Hello, welcome to the stream. Oh, I just had to plug it in last minute. I was like, oh no, that's still unplugged because I didn't get a chance to swap it out. And I have it on a mount. So, anyhow, how are you all? I hope you've had a great week. Again with the wheels of my chair, wanting to hit the leg of the desk. 1 second. There you go. Sorry, just had to turn it around. Get back up here. Climb up my ladder into my chair. Make all kinds of noise as I move it in here. Ever the professional here on the channel. Ever the professional. All good on your side, says Tara. Okay, great. Okay, well. Hello, welcome to the stream. Just real quick, last week I was working with the liquid charcoal. And that did not go so great. And that did not go so great because I have discovered that liquid charcoal you cannot use as you would the charcoal pencils, charcoal sticks. Once you set that down and it dries, to come back in and blend it out like with a blending stump or something like that doesn't really work so well. So I still want to do that elephant, but I'm going to have to come at it with a different approach. So that's kind of been put on the back burner for now. But this week I wanted to share with you because I had a question. Excuse me. Last week it was asked, and I just want to bring that up because I have it. And of course I'll probably pop this on here and it'll be huge, and my apologies if that's the case. But last week, Rob was here, and Rob asked, I can just pop that in. Have we ever used water-soluble graphite? Does it work similar? So, to answer that question for Rob, I have not used liquid graphite. However, I knew I had some. And I'm trying to remember, it came in an art box and I'm not recalling at the moment. And I'm just now realizing I forgot to grab my packet on the way in so that I could have pulled its slip and shown you. But that's okay. I'll update the description and it'll list where I got this from. But it is available. You can get these should you like them. But I've only been able to find them at Jackson's. But I do have links to Jackson's below. And, of course, those are affiliate links, so if you choose to use them, thank you. The channel does get money back. I get money back from that. Doesn't cost you more, but it absolutely helps us go. So, I could only find them at Jackson's. Now, this is made in Australia. So, I'm wondering if Starving Artist Collective shows up today, if she'll be able to tell us how are these, if she's used them, because I know she is in Australia. Has she used them? What does she think of them? Are they like easy to get where she's at, given that she is in Australia? And the only place I could find them was Jackson's, which of course is in the UK. Blick used to sell them, but they're no longer showing up on Blick's site. Jerry's had one. Now there's two different types. There is the liquid pencil, is Derivan. And there's the liquid pencil that is permanent and rewettable. They come in the same colors, regardless of which you choose. It's just going to be a matter of, is that permanent or can you rewet it? Now, they will come in a gray 9, gray 3, blue, yellow, sepia, and red. I have gray 9, blue, and yellow. So I have half of them. I would love to get, well, I don't know. We'll see how that goes today. And then I'll tell you if I would actually love to get the other 3 tubes that are available in the rewettable. I have a tip for you today that I'm hoping that you are going to find very useful. And so stick around. Make sure you stick around for that. Okay. So I have these 3 colors. I want to see. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out the answer to Rob's question. One, I'm going to use the water-soluble graphite for the first time. And does it work similarly to the liquid charcoal? I'm going to do a few comparisons there for you, and so that I can tell you how that is. All right. So, welcome to the stream. If you are here, hopefully more will join me. It has been chaos, so the notification went up really late for that. But that's, everybody will kind of trickle in, hopefully. And if not, hey, I'm catching you on the replay, and thanks for joining me now. So, the liquid pencil, again, made in Australia. I can find it in Jackson's. The link that is in the description below, just so that you know, if you've never ordered from Jackson's before, if you use my link below, you're going to get a discount on your very first order. Now, that's your very first order with Jackson's, not your first order through my links. It is your very first order with the company. So I tell you that just because I know when I made my first order, I really took advantage of that first order. Just saying. So, hints of things to come, maybe. But anyways, I just want to make sure that you're aware of that. If you want these and you go there because they are available at Jackson's and you have not made an order yet, there is a discount to be had. Okay. Enough with that. Amazon did have, the only one I could find on Amazon was the same that I could find on Jerry's, which is probably why I could find it on Amazon. It's probably the same thing because it was the gray 9, but it was the permanent. And apparently these are also available in like a bottle versus the tube. So, I don't know. Are there other products similar? I was looking before the stream, and that's one of the things that delayed me because I was trying to get you more information. And other than the Derwent, the Graphitints, and those are pans. And will these dry in a pan? I meant to grab one. Oh, I have some right here. I changed up the studio this week. So I went through, well, everything's the same behind me, of course, but I went through and I made more things available right here on the desk for me. And then I took some things and got rid of them. I'm in the process of changing up a monitor. I completely cleaned out the studio and got everything organized. It's like, it feels so good to walk into like a nice clean studio. So what I might do is I may pour a little bit in one of like an empty half pan, and I'm just probably do one color to start just to make sure, because I don't want to waste it. But where it says it's rewettable, I would imagine if I put it in a pan and it dried down, then I should be able to use that out of a pan like I can with the charcoal from last week. That was beautiful. I thought I just had it sitting here right behind me. Nope, it's on plate. So that one, if you recall, like, it re-wet great. It did shrink down. Excuse me. Oh, somebody knows one's itch. It did shrink down into the pan, but it did not crack. So that was nice. And it is re-wettable in the pan, but there was like, we need to do more on that because there was a lot. There was a lot going on. A lot going on there. A lot of things that really would impact how I would use it. So I'm going to do a regular video on that, but I wanted to do a regular video where I could really break it down. And I'll probably still do the elephant in that video. So if you're curious, that will come. It will come. How fast? I don't know. As fast as I can get them. I have a huge list of things I have to get out before the end of the month. So it's going to be busy around here. Busy. All right. I'm just grabbing a couple things that I know I'm going to want to share with you off of my little turnstile here. So I have let me bring this down to the desk. Boom. or not, because apparently it says, huh. I so wish you guys could see this. Well, maybe you will be able to see it. Ready? It's amazing what happens when you take off the lens cap. Oh, I forgot because I was cleaning and I didn't want the dust that was going everywhere. And so, yeah, I'm going to pop that. There we go, back in the corner. So, yep, as I come back and I am red. Hello, Joseph. Hello, Tara. Anybody else that is here and watching but hasn't dropped anything in chat. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Thank you. Wasn't that great? I'm like, why is it not showing? Should be showing them. Yeah. Thank you for laughing with me. I say laughing with me because I am laughing at myself. Oh my goodness. All right. So, today, and I only opened one, and I see that it's like actually pushed right up into the lid because I wanted to show you. So these come with a lid that looks like this, and this is why I didn't open them all. The tube's sealed. I don't know why that wants to, if I make it focus on my hands, then it's going to want to follow my hands, and that'll drive you guys crazy too. So the tube is, the foil seal. But these lids, some of them, like you unscrew the lid and it has you can pierce pierce the spot. Yeah, not so much with these guys. So it has like that, and then you can just pop that open and close it. So that's how the lids are. So I have gray 9, blue, and yellow. And I'm going to put some of these. Let me see if I can back out. Sorry, it's going to shake. I know. But now that I've changed things up on the desk, trying to get you more space. I need to readjust my camera too. My camera needs to come closer to me. Okay. I also have this palette. This is some of that gray 9. I used it because I needed it to dry before the stream. So I used a little bit of that because like I said, I have a tip that you are not going to want to miss coming up for something amazing that I think a lot of us will have use for with product like this, and to see if it will work the same with the liquid charcoal that I used last week. I'm actually going to take the page where I put some right onto the paper last week, and I'm going to test that. So I did bring that. I grabbed that again just so that we could. Ow! I just bumped my desk. So that we could try it and see how similar are they. So I'm going to put this, I think, is that pretty much, except for the center, as I put my fingers right in it, right in it. Rewettable. Just going to clean that off. Okay. So this is almost dry from earlier, so I just want that to stay there because maybe that'll help me know, is it going to easily re-wet? If it re-wets from dry here, I would imagine it would in the pan as well. So I'm just going to put the colors out, and I have that is very fluid. It's not like the watercolor where you squeeze watercolor out and it's kind of, it's thick. That's not super thick. It doesn't shake in the tube, but it is not super thick. I also have a little tiny container, this would be if I wanted to put ink in here. And I think I'm going to put a little bit of some of the liquid pencil in this at one point or I may just use a brush. But I want to show you different ways that you can use it, different ways you can apply it. And I am going to open these. And this is the yellow. And then we have the blue. So those are the only colors I have. Now, they do have, like I said, they do have a sepia. And then they have a lighter gray. They have a gray level 3. So I'm just taking a stylus, which you'll probably see me use later as well. I'm just going to poke. Yep, sure. Just there we go. Sure I am. Just going to poke through that foil, which was not the easiest thing to do. I was like, this would have been so wonderful if they had the type of tops that could press in to pierce them. I probably could have taken something that does have that top and just pressed it. That would have been clever, wouldn't it? Okay. Hello, George. Well, we are just getting started, so we are glad that you have joined us. And I'm going to put out some of the blue. And we will see how different that looks. And then we need to open the yellow. Pop the yellow open. And I do, if you saw the thumbnail, which you had to have seen the thumbnail to click on the video. Good morning, Starving Artist Collective is in the house. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Let us know. We were talking about you. I don't know if you were on and heard, or the products I'm using today are made in Australia, and not sure if you have used it, heard of it. Is it readily available there? Do you even know? If you want to drop a comment and share with us, but we are using Derivan, and I'm pretty sure I pronounced that right, a liquid pencil. And again, I got this in an art box. I'm not recalling which one, but I will update the description so it reflects which box it came in. And so then now I'm going to put down the yellow. Oh, and the yellow? Okay, the yellow came out a little thicker than the other two did. Interesting. Don't know. I would imagine this would like ridiculously shrink because this feels like it is really wet. All of a sudden, my nose is just like itching like crazy. Hopefully. It's not like allergies. I'm just like, I don't want to like touch it with my hands. They have, yep. Sorry. You guys have, we all have noses and they itch. And I don't want to just scratch it. Now I'm going to make it red. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. So I have a stylus. I have, like an orange wood stick like you would use if you were doing your nails. I also have, and this one is made by Kuretake. Pretty sure. This one, excuse me, not Kuretake. This is Takakawa. And so you can see right there, it is Takakawa. This is not linked in the description. I just grabbed it off my round that's on my desk with my brushes in it. But I grabbed it because I wanted a nib. And it was handy, and it was there. So. Oh, and of course, I have my favorite mechanical pencil, and this is a Graphic Gear 300. Which is made by Pentel. It's a 0.7. Also not in the description. Okay. First off, let's just grab a brush. That's a large brush. I don't know that I want one that large. You know what? I'm going to grab the same one as last week that I used, the Princeton Heritage. This is a size 6 round. And first off, let's just mark down. But these are, and this is some B watercolor paper. Not Canson. We're using B today. And so that is 100% cotton. But this is the Derivan Liquid Pencil. Okay, and we have gray 9 and blue and yellow. So when we say gray, blue, and yellow, how blue is blue and how yellow is yellow? Is it like the Schminke liquid charcoal where they have the coal, where they have the color, and those colors they're like a hint and that's what I'm guessing this is. They have like a hint of that color, but it's like really graphite, or it's in that case it's really charcoal. Okay, seriously? Everything is wanting to be crazy today. My paint pot, for whatever reason, just felt like I didn't re-secure it in my rinse cup. Just getting my brush wet. And first thing I want to do is come in with some water on my brush. And I'm just going to take these. Sure I am. I'm just moving my paint puck out of the way so that I can move this up. I will move my other one too. I've got my paint puck today, and then of course I have my paint water beside me. All right. So first thing, my brush is just damp. I'm just going to dab that off. And just coming in with that full, you see that's, it's pretty thin. I mean, that's already pretty thin without even adding any water to it at all. And this is the gray 9. So if I bring that down, the gray 9. That is how dark we get right out of the tube. So there's our mass tone. Now, grab a little bit of water, and I'm just going to pull that out. See where we can go with that. Really? Okay. Sorry, I just had like some pop-up thing on my Google Drive would like to start syncing. No, not right now, you wouldn't. Which also reminds me, and I'm going to be curious to see if I have any issues that I've had with the stream the past 2 weeks. I have to share a funny story with you while we're putting colors down on paper. So last week and the week before, I had a little bit of issue where I was like, I kept getting these messages showing up saying that, like, the stream, maybe it wasn't, that there could be issues. I'm just trying to blend a little bit more of this into that water that I had there so I can get that gradual blend happening. And we can see just how it will gradiate down. All right, just going to leave that one alone. So there's gray 9. Then I want to do the same thing over here, same color, but I'm going to do a nice big swatch because I want to see, I'm all about granulation, right? And I just want to see how that's going to work. So before I do that, just one quick second, because I forgot to take care of it. And I want to make sure. I went on just a second. There we go. So I found out that last week and the week before, when I was having issues, all right, now I need all this to go away. Sorry, guys. All right, there we go. And I've got you back. Okay, I can keep it up here on my phone. And so I found out, like, I was having these issues, and I'm going, what on earth? Why? I know darn well that I have more than enough. Like, my connection with my, internet service provider, whatever, is strong. Like, I pay to have, I've got fiber, and it's like I can do 100, I can upload speeds at, you get your whatever per minute, right? Per minute, but whatever. Mine's 100. 100 download. 100 upload. They match my download. So I have the same. 100 down, 100 up. So I'm like, I'm streaming at 100. I know darn well there's no reason why, unless it's YouTube having a problem, it should ever say that there is an issue that could be preventing you guys from actually seeing. I had a fuzz in there. Seeing what I was putting out there. So I was like, what? I don't know what's happening. Well, I got 2 printers that are new to me. They are both, okay, you see there, just a very nice wet wash. And I'm just going to drop some of this in that because I know that these nice wet washes can give me some really good granulating effects. And that's what I want to see. So anyhow, I was trying to get everything squared away with the printers, and I couldn't get, well, one of them I still can't get to connect to the darn Wi-Fi in the house, which is very frustrating. But the other one, it connected, but then I was like, well, wait a minute, why is it not showing up? It just wasn't showing up on my computer. Couldn't figure it out. It was driving me crazy. I'm like, I know there's an answer here. And so, long story short, because I stream, and because sometimes while I'm streaming, lose home, or we might have company and I'm still working. I'm just kind of tipping this, so I want it to kind of blend it and move. Just curious at how even I can get a wash with this, which I don't know. It's almost like you're pushing it. All right. You know what? It's going to be whatever it is. I'm just leaving it like that. Okay. So because, we could have company that could be on or whatever have you. And I have a guest network. Like they can't get on mine. I have it set different, and that is only allowed but so much. Well, apparently at one time I logged into my own guest network on my Mac, and, Mac decided that's the one it wanted to talk to. So I don't know how long, but at least the past 2 weeks, it has been on my guest network. Not having priority, because my main network has priority. And I always stream like that. So yeah, that's why I was having potential issues, and there was like buffering and things were not working correctly. That's why Mac decided to get onto something else. And now I have, down is definitely never the problem. I'm just kind of seeing a little bit of what's popping up in chat. So now it's tested, and yeah, in fact, I am not only downloading, but I am downloading at like 100 in the studio, because I did the test in the studio, and I am uploading at like 94. Well, I could do YouTube with like 15 to 20, supposedly. How many issues would I have? I don't know. But regardless, that was what my problem was. I was on the guest network. So not only that, I need to make a list, like a pre-stream checklist, if you would. So that from now on, before I start, I go in there and I check. I can also go into my network and say, Mac's got priority. So anything else, whether it be Lou getting on his iPad or streaming, because we don't have cable or anything like that. We stream TV. Even regular local TV, we stream it. So whether he's watching TV, doesn't matter what's going on, Mac has priority. So you guys now always have priority. Yeah. And I can say, I want it for 4 hours, or I want it for 1 hour, or I want it for however long, that it has priority. So no matter what else happens, it's not going to take it away from here to benefit, which I love that feature. Ooh, this is like, I'm curious. Remember the whole the video with the Daniel Smith and hematite? Seeing what I just saw in the blue, which is gorgeous. That is not doing that justice for you guys. Hold on, I'm going to touch this for just a second. I apologize. I hate making my screen jump. Okay, you're hearing beeps because I'm trying to tell my camera. That's what you need to focus on. So, anyways, funny. I thought it was funny. I laughed at myself again. I laughed at myself then too because I was like, oh my gosh, how did you not even notice you weren't on the main network? So, I saw Jacqueline pop in. Hi, Jacqueline. And I believe, yeah, notifications. If you have subscribed to the channel, and if you haven't, I hope you might consider it. When you click the subscribe button, also ring that bell and you'll get notifications when we go live. Okay. Oh. You have, Jacqueline, are you saying you have vertigo? Vertigo is horrible. Absolutely horrible. Yeah, see, that's it. Exactly. Exactly, Joseph, what you say. Like, down's not the problem. They're like, oh, you can get 500 downloads. Download's not the problem. Upload's the problem. I want to send it. And that's the thing, like, for gamers, of course, most gamers know that. If you're gaming, you are receiving and sending information over the internet. So we're like, go, oh, the internet's crap. And you're like, oh, we've got 100 meg download, whatever, 300 whatever from our, if that's just download, but your upload is like 15 or 20, yeah, your games are going to be lagging because you can't send it back fast enough for it to, anyways, gamers know that. But same happens for us creators on the YouTube. And, Jacqueline, yeah. So we have, I know you're in Canada, but here we have, I have to get the over-the-counter, it's like an over-the-counter nausea medicine, and the active ingredient is meclizine. That's what I use. I'm not giving medical advice to anybody. Let me just put a disclaimer out there. That is what I use when I get my vertigo symptoms, and that is like the only thing that seems to take it away and make it better. So I hope that passes quickly. Oh, I lost it. So normally I need another light like coming this way, but I'm afraid it's going to blow everything out. And I can't even see the reflection of the water. So if I use some clean-ish water, maybe that would help me see where it is. So you guys are seeing, when I look over the overhead where you guys are, you're seeing that little bit of sheen there. I don't know. First impression, that blue is really interesting, and I think I like it. All right, let's see what we got. Look, and you see how I put it down and it just like pushed the water away. Oh, it literally looked like it pushed the water away. That's interesting. It didn't like flow through the water. Of course, I would expect the graphite and the particles to be heavier. So, and I'm assuming graphite did say liquid pencil. So in that, but when I dropped it into all that water, it kind of pushed all the water away. That's interesting. And this is only mass tone right out of the tube that's on the butcher's tray here. I didn't link that below this palette, but I do love this palette. I can add that link later. In fact, I believe there's still a lot of links in the description below from when I did the liquid charcoal. Yeah, see, that's not wanting to, it's not wanting to blend so well, like the one up top did. Like, would I not be able to get a wash of this in a really, I guess I'd probably have to, I'm thinking I'd have to like grab the water so that it make it mix it with the water on the palette, so I was bringing it that strength the whole way. Yeah, most likely. As you see, as soon as you like move it, like I can't see this doing a nice even wash like that. It looks like it'll give me a nice even wash with the gray 9, but I don't know. I don't see this one doing. And I don't think it's that there's not enough water, but you never know. As soon as I bring more water in, it's just pushing it out of the way. Yeah. All right, well, you know what? It is what it is. And well, like all these things, I'm not disappointed. This is how I figure out how am I going to use that. So I might go, oh, I'm not going to want to paint a wash with this color because if I wanted a nice even wash, because you know what, I'm not going to get it. Like, see, look at that. I'm never going to get that. But I could probably do something that would give me some neat textures, different things like that. But as soon as I go over it, it's not. And again, this is on B. I'm using the B watercolor paper right now. This is the 90 pound, so it's not the real thick or the thicker 140. I'm just going to leave that like that. All right. And the blue, oh, you guys, I don't think you guys are seeing the blue. Like, come on, focus for me. Do you see the hints? You see the hints of it in here. Like, it's blue. Definitely has some blue. The gray, it's almost like maybe a little on the warm side, but we'll check the yellow out and see how the yellow appears. Did Joseph say his computer just died, huh? Like, just give it up. Oh my gosh, Jacqueline, yeah. So see, I am not offering medical advice, but I can tell you that here, and of course we're here in the States, we can go into like our local pharmacy and get their, like I will go in, look for in the aisle where they have like the anti-nausea medication and for like seasickness or motion sickness. And as long as it has meclizine in it, I can take the as directed dose for an adult and vertigo symptoms go bye-bye. I hope that gets better for you really quick. Okay, and Starving is back, yay. Okay, so Starving, you were feeding cats. When I asked, you may have missed that question. This is a product that is made in Australia. Is it something that's readily available since you are in Australia? And is it like quite affordable? Like, it didn't seem too pricey for the tube, the size that I showed, which again, these guys right here. It is Derivan Liquid. I'm just going to kind of put them in the order in which I'm doing them so you guys can see them. So we have the gray, the blue, the yellow. And I'm about to do the yellow. Now on my palette, I can certainly see, like when I pull this out, can you guys see the yellow? I can see that undertone. I can absolutely see the undertone that's got the blue there. And then of course the gray is just gray. Oh, you are welcome. I hope you guys have it, and I hope that works for you, because I can definitely tell you when my dad just had vertigo too, and that was the same thing. It's like that's what he used, was that product, and definitely helped. There's reading George's. This yellow is going to give me. Now this I can see. What I'm noticing so far, and of course we're going to test all these things because I actually, you saw the thumbnail, the bird, which I hope you guys like that. I took a little bit of time on that one with the bird and created my own little photo there. And it was, see the yellow coming through now? The bird holding the tube. The bird holding the tube of the liquid pencil. That question is for Angela. Tara. George said, is liquid pencil a paradox? If it's a pencil, why seek to make it liquid? Unless OMS is built in. Is that what we're saying is built in, or OMS built it? Well, let me just look how yellow that's looking on you guys' side. That is too on my side. Like, that really looks yellow. You're not seeing the blue as I am. This is like, wow, it's blue. But oh, this here, a nice thin wash of that. The textures, I'm really looking forward to this. So the bird, and I'm going to show you, George, we're going to talk about a few ways that we can use this and apply it. And I think you might, hopefully, if everything goes right and works for me, you might see a reason that you might want to use the liquid pencil. I don't know. All right, just going to do this now. Again, I'm going to do a large swatch here because, oh, that is just beautiful. I think if I would have not tried to come back so much with that, I'm going to do another one with the blue just because what I'm seeing here, I think, and again, when I touch it, it tries to push all that water away. So I'm not going to come back in with too much more of the pigment on top like I did with the other one. And I'm going to do a blue in this same way, just coming actually with more water. Just going to come over this with more water, try to move everything around. And my paper is not stretched or taped down, so it's going to kind of buckle in the wrong direction, which is going to want it to pull outward. But again, not going to worry too much. I'm definitely seeing, I don't know if you guys are seeing it, and this is a smaller brush than I would use for a large wash, so we'll just kind of let that do its thing. Look at that. See the yellow now? I'm going to do one right here one more time with the blue because I think you'll be able to see that blue much better. And I've made it so my chat can't scroll. Let me fix that real quick. Okay. There we go. All right. So I'm just going to do a small one right here. It's still, it just does not show you guys. It's just a really nice pale blue. Like, and it's almost like, you see when I lift, like when I pull like that, almost like that, like the blue is going to stain and the graphite is kind of sitting up there. Just more water. I just want to be able to let this move around. I'm going to leave that line with the blue that way so that hopefully later you can really see the difference with them. If I were to lift, let's just come back just with I've tapped my brush off. So just to come in and lift like at this corner so we can see like how does that give us the yellow. And it's just trying to pull, like it's pulling up even a lot of the yellow. I'm just gonna leave it. All right. So I was considering what did I want to do today as far as like I'd love to try to, just paint something quick with it. Right? And that's, so yeah, the gray, I think the values were the gray 3, gray, and they have gray 3 and gray 9. And then the blue, the yellow, and I believe I told you, so yeah, so there's blue. The whole color range is gray 3, gray 9, red, blue, yellow, and sepia. Now, I don't have sepia, red, or gray 3. These are the 3 that I have. And it's like, this, so far, this makes me go, oh, could Derwent put Graphitin in a tube for us? I mean, we can take Graphitin and wet it in the pan. And, you know, we have the Graphitin pencils are available to us. Could you imagine it in a tube? Like, I'm just with what I'm seeing here, and it makes me think, and I'm going to do it with the yellow. I'm going to do right here. I'm going to try a spot with the yellow because I have it here. If you remember, back when I did the Daniel Smith hematite. Wow, just like that. Did you guys see it fly away? It was like, what was that thing? And I used the magnet, right? Okay, if I can not leave it there. So it definitely is a magnet. I just want to see if I put some of this down. Let me get a nice wet wash right here on this corner so I can just lift the corner up. And I'm going to take a little bit of this yellow. And I'm going to put that in here. I really want to work that in that wash. I'm just curious. May do nothing. May do nothing. I need it to be nice and wet because I found that like with the Daniel Smith hematite, and if you've never done this, if you have Daniel Smith hematite and you've never done this, it's fun. It's fun to create stuff with it. So I'm going to put the magnet right under my paper and move it. And I'm just trying to see, will the particles move? Now, if I did this with the Daniel Smith hematite, all of those particles that are there would, come on, focus. They would definitely, you would see those moving all around in that wash because you can see where the magnet is right there. It would be pulling and moving that. Now I'm wondering if the magnet is affecting its color because this definitely looks a bit different than the other one, which I did find to be the case in some of the colors I tested this magnet on. And if you guys haven't seen that video, well, I'll have to find a link and to grab it and put it, but it's I made it here on the channel. It's there if you haven't seen it, but I'll have to put a link. And now it's that magnet. I gotta put the magnet somewhere else because it's gonna want to stick to everything. So now, the magnet did not pull that around. So if that was like a PBK11 that was in there, like a Mars Black, trying to add to it with a tint, and we're calling it a graphite, then I would say, you know, that would move because PBK11 moves. So it moves with a magnet. And again, if you haven't tried playing with your watercolors with a magnet, there are definitely pigments that have magnetic properties or properties where they react to a magnet. And you can certainly do some pretty interesting stuff with them. And you'll have to let me know in the comments below if you would like to see another video or more videos with some of those techniques with using the magnet. So as for this one, I mean, I made that wash very wet. And so far that one actually, if I can, again, get it to pop my hand out there, focus, that distributed so much more evenly. And I don't know, it's just like, I don't know what to focus on. Sorry, guys. I grabbed my hand. There we go. So, but I was tipping it too. You can just see that yellow washing over. I definitely would say that this is this finely ground graphite in I'm not sure what medium they're using. And there's no way I will be able to read that for you guys. I don't even know. Can my camera please? So that's what's on the back. Made in Australia. Yeah. I like what I'm seeing. Thus far, I really like what I'm seeing. The yellow and the blue. So I was trying to think, like, what could I do that would be yellow, blue, but grays, you know, kind of keeping that really muddled. Oh, and I want to see if I mix. I got to test that too, because I'm going to need that when I do my little painting. So just a second. I'm actually going to take a little bit of my blue. I'm just going to do it right here. And a little bit of that yellow. And mix that up because I really want to see, can I get a green? So let's just take that and see. Is it going to give me a green, or is it just going to give me a mess? I'm definitely seeing green undertones on my palette there. So I'll be pleasantly optimistic about it. So if I back that out, put my darkest up here. Okay, I need to catch up on chat real quick, because the next thing I'm going to show you is we are going to look at, oh yeah, see, I'm kind of getting some green going on there. Okay, that's what I wanted to see. Can I blend them? And if I mix them, am I going to get that undertone that I wanted? And that is looking green. Okay. Excuse me. Next up, how can we use this? How can we apply it? And I'm going to show you a few different things. Obviously, we've seen me use a paintbrush. You see a tinge of green. Yeah, see? Yes. And I just covered it with your comment, but see how much it is? It's definitely looking green. We definitely have a green tone there for sure, I would say. So there's, I'm pleased. I'm pleased because I kind of want to, if you saw the image where I did the bird. Now I got this bird from Pixabay. That link is in the description below. But I took the bird and I flipped it. And if you saw the thumbnail, I removed him from his background. I took him off the branch, and he was kind of carrying away the tube of blue liquid pencil. And hopefully, I mean, I thought he was cute. I had fun doing it, although sometimes I get lost. I get carried away. Hey, Joseph, do you? Like, I know, like, Joseph has started making some really neat thumbnails, and I like when he has, you know, himself off a background and then puts it in there to what's going on with, you know, his different shock and awe faces and things like that. So, loving that, Joseph. But, yeah, sometimes I'm like, we're spending too much time here. But thumbnails are important, so they say. So, yeah. Oh, thank you. So, okay, you saw that. So, yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I loved it. I loved it. Hello, Cats Art Picks. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us. Just want to make sure that I have caught everybody who's come in. Oh yeah, back to school time. I can't believe it's already back to school time. That's like, wow. So on my tray here, I'm really seeing the green, and as it's drying, I'm actually seeing some blue, some yellow, some green, and of course the graphite. So first off, this is now dry. Yeah, okay, so see, let me slide this down. This is now dry. So this was the gray 9 that I had here earlier. So as far as, can we re-wet this? Can we reactivate it? If I put this in a palette or if I wanted some in like a little half pan because I just love it and I want to take them with me to do some plein air or whatever. if I put some in one of those, will it be able to have water and reactivate? So obviously I just dab that water in there. You can see that like out here, that where it was nice and thin, definitely reactivated. So this one dry, that one's not dry yet. I also want to show you a couple other really neat features about this. Whereas last week, one of the problems that I had, and I'm just gonna let this water sit for a minute and I'm gonna tell you about the problem from last week while we let that set to see how it would reactivate. Excuse me. So last week, and I have it here, and can I just put this out there? I came back to the studio the next morning. I walked into the studio and I'm looking at this darn elephant just staring me down on my desk, and I'm just disgusted. And I'm like, then I get it closer and I turn around and I look down at the desk and I was like, does anybody else see Pumbaa from Disney in this elephant? All I see is Pumbaa now. I don't even see an elephant. All I can see is Pumbaa with like, I don't know, he rustled up some grub and there's like a grub hanging out of his mouth. Like that's all I see now. It's Pumbaa. That's it. That's all I got. Like, that's all I've got. It's Pumbaa. So anyways, one of the things like, so here, let me just give you guys a quick, here's the problems that I found. Here's why I just stopped and was like, and we're done. Because I immediately realized, not immediately, but as I wanted to go on to the next step and I was trying to start putting in darker values. So when I had asked about this, and if you guys, if you're not here for this, if you're not familiar with this, if you're watching the replay, this was in the last live stream, and why am I not finishing this project? This is why. So let me just, and then we'll be right back to today. So this guy here, normally if I worked in, if I was working in, regular charcoal stick, charcoal pencil, whatever. If I wanted to lay in where my darks were, I could lay in where my darks are, come in, and now let me just, I want one that's absolutely, I know is clean. So you see this here, right? So nice and clean, brand new stump. So if I want to like blend this out, see, that's not moving. It's not moving out. I'm picking up see how the little bit is I'm picking up? Now, if that was regular charcoal, this would be black already. Just with that little bit of rubbing, and I could smudge it. I can't smudge it. Can't smudge it. So that's why as soon as I realized that was going to be the case last week, and I went through with it and I was like, well, you definitely can mix down your values by adding water and thinning it down, stuff like that. I quickly realized that you're not going to work liquid charcoal the same way you would, say, the charcoal pencils or the charcoal blocks or anything like that. You are not going to work it that way. You're going to have to use it like a watercolor, and you're going to have to paint in your light values and work your way up to your darks, because it's just not. And once it's dry, like even as far as lifting out, it does not want to, like, I can reactivate that. But if I'm scrubbing to lift that, and I'm not going to do that because, I like my watercolor brushes, and this is a sand grain paper. Not doing that. Otherwise, I would just use watercolor paper. So I think that is what I'll do. I don't know that I'm going to finish working on this one. This may just be a scrap it and it was a learning piece. Which, that's one of the things I've always said. If it's not a masterpiece, it's a learning piece. So don't be afraid to do it. I am so glad that I did. I am so glad that I did that. And now I think I will actually develop like a fondness for that product, because at first I was like, I don't like this. And then like, ooh, this could have some great potential. I can see the granulation. And I think I would like that. But then I'm trying to work it like charcoal, and it's like, okay, because it's charcoal, I want to work it like charcoal, but I can't work it like charcoal. So now knowing that there's a difference there, I still want to do that. I so want to do that elephant, and I will. But I'm going to do it in charcoal. more traditional, like the more traditional sense. Or I could paint it with the liquid charcoal, but I'm going to be painting that elephant as if I were painting it in watercolor. So just kind of a little bit of fill you guys in from last week. And now let's see this here. We put that down and absolutely look at. So would it be able to re-wet if I put that in a pan? I would say that would probably be very easy to re-wet. And that's what I didn't get. Like the same thing with that liquid charcoal. I can re-wet it. No problem. No problem re-wetting it. So yeah, see? That whole thing just moved right over. There's all that was left, that little tiny dot right there, and it's gone. So yes, it is re-wettable. Now they do have a version of this that is permanent. So please, 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 if this is something that you are looking at and considering, no, there are, excuse me, two versions, a permanent version and a re-wettable version. All right. I saw that Starving said something there. Experiment. So a gray number 9 with a dot of Quin Rose watercolor. Ooh, I will do it. I will do it for you because you know what? All right, hold on. You missed it when I said I just cleaned my studio. I completely organized my studio and I'm going, wait a minute. My watercolor palette. Okay, it's closed. I'm like, my watercolor palette's still in my go bag. So where is it? It's right behind me. Give me 1 second. Actually, I can pull my little rolling cart closer to me. And I can reach it better. All right. So, I'm going to grab another piece of paper. All right. And again, this is the 90-pound B watercolor paper. It's not in the description below. I have linked it before, but I absolutely will link it. If you just click on my link to, if you like to get your art supplies on Amazon, excuse me, and you search B watercolor paper, it will come up. But do know that there is a 90-pound and there is a 140-pound. So, two different there. And so see, there's the Derwent Graphitin. And I was just thinking to myself too, where did I put the Graphitin paints? In my go bag, because I was going to take them with me last time I went. All right. Starving Artist Collective asked for, if we could see, I'm going to set this, I'm just going to set this off to the side to dry because I need this dry so I can come back and show you some other really neat features about this. And I need this swatch in particular. So I'm just going to set it behind me on Pumbaa. We'll take that. So what Starving asked for was the like quinacridone red. And so I have Quin Red. Okay, here we go. You said Quin Red / Rose. And are you ready? All right, you got to tell me which one you want. So Daniel Smith, I have got quinacridone red. I have quinacridone rose. And I also have from Core quinacridone magenta. So which one would you like to see? Quin red, Quin rose, or Quin magenta? With the gray number 9. And I will wet those up and show you. And I'm just going to leave my palette here because this is my big palette that you guys have seen multiple times. And it's swatch sheets, but I'm going to leave that off on the side because I'm going to get some color and I'm going to bring it over here. Okay. And let me just make sure that I'm not missing anything. We've been getting it like crazy here. So it's been here. Wow. August is not improved. It was a dry spring for us. It was really dry. Like everything, the water wasn't even flowing over the dams for the longest time. I'm sure it is now because we've just had a bit of rain, but okay. So, excuse me. But yeah, we haven't had a ton either this summer. All right. So I haven't heard back from Starving. I am just going to take my distilled water here. Just my little, giving my palette a spritz. And I'm going to spritz up the colors. And there we go. Make sure I keep my order right here because I just turned my palette around upside down. As long as my sheet's upside down, I won't mess it up. And then in here, I actually have, I'm trying to think. Oh, that's different. I need a swatch sheet of this because I don't have it written down. That's my other Daniel Smith, my little tiny travel one. This has the hematite in it. See, this actually does have that hematite in it. For those of you who haven't seen that. And that's like one of the Daniel Smith Primatex, but those take a little bit to re-wet. So I just kind of dampened that because I'm going to show you before we're done. I will try to remember. All right. You know what? I'm going to do, because she may be tending to cats. Excuse me. So here is my gray number 9. So I'm going to take the gray 9, put it there. And I'm going to take some gray 9 and I'm going to put it here. And then rinsing this out. Quin magenta. Yes. Okay. I will. I will do that. That was my thought too, Starving. And that's why I was like, I said that I had them. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to get some of the Quin magenta, which is from Core. And I'm going to get some of that color down here. Get plenty of that pigment in here. All right, you ready? So we're going to take the Quin magenta. We're going to mix it with that's gorgeous. That's on the palette. It's a beautiful color. All right. And so this is with the 9. Let's just go. I'm going to write down what they are. So we have, this is going to be Core, Quinacridone, Magenta, and Gray 9. And then I will do the Daniel Smith. So Daniel Smith, the Quin Rose, and Gray 9. And then you can see both of those. I'll do that way. Okay. Oop, as I get it all over my, at least I didn't drop it. All right, here we go. So in true Core fashion, well, first off, I'm just going to get, I don't know why I rinsed them with the thing if I was just going to do it that way. All right. Now I remember why I was doing it. Gosh, guys. Because I want to bring a little bit more. I just want to grab a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Do you guys do that? Like when I mix, look how big that's gotten. Every time. Like I'll just be, I'm going to mix a color and, okay. So from Core, with the Gray 9, all right. So first, just putting a swatch down. So we can see how it looks. Let it dry. But then because it's core, and if you don't know what core does, core is wonderful. I'm going to just lighten that up. Core is wonderful for the way it travels or whooshes. Whooshes. So now, yeah, sure. Sure, why not? If that's what you want to see, I'll do it. Okay, so now I'm just going to take this paint water. It's disgusting, but that's okay because I do have my rinse well. So my clean-ish water, because we want to see what it's going to do. Will it go like true core fashion? So we have very wet wash down on the paper. And now taking this quinacridone magenta and the gray 9. And it gives that different reaction. Did you see it pushed it away first? Like you could tell that the core, the quinacridone magenta, wanted to just whoosh and take off like it normally would. But for whatever reason, just like when I put this onto a wet wash, into a very wet wash, it's almost like it pushes the water away. It's like it drops down, grabs the paper, and pushes the water. So that's quite interesting. That we're gonna let set more. I want to try one more, just a small one. Okay, so it's wet. I can see here where it is on the palette, like I can see the graphite in it. I'm actually going to pick up that little bit extra that was there. Okay. Here we go. I'm like, it's not really... See how, like, pushed? You see the circle that I, like, pushed away? See how it just kind of pushed it? So you just got that... And you drop it in, and it just pushes that water away. I'm just going to leave it like that. We're going to let that set, almost like negative painting of a little flower there. So that is also, I think, pretty interesting information to have. Just going to drop extra. And I'm kind of painting this around the outside edge of where I had my water. Dropping extra in that's on this brush. This is not a bad brush. So far, the Princeton Heritage, this is the 6th round. So far, I'm not minding that. Okay, and then you also asked for, let's try to mix it with the blue, you said. So I'm going to do, with the blue and with the, let me do the Quin Rose from Daniel Smith and the Gray 9, and I'll do the other ones down here. I'm not going to do the Daniel Smith and all of them, but I will do the core, so you can see those combinations. And I believe I saw, and I didn't get to go back and check that, that Starving said you are able to get the Derivan products where you are. Okay, so that is interesting. Nice. That's an interesting color too. So this is quinacridone Rose from Daniel Smith. Quin Rose. And the Gray 9. All right. So Daniel Smith's quinacridone Rose. Oh, look at that. Interesting. And again, I'm just going to pull and lighten that out a little bit. That was a nice shade of magenta. I have a big drop of water. Don't let drops of water on your ferrules ruin your paintings. We'll just let that kind of do its thing. So that is the Daniel Smith Quinacridone Rose. And just thinning that down a little bit more with the clean water just to see. I know it'll just keep going. It's going to keep going and keep going. But we'll see how that... I'm finding that quite interesting. I like that color. Almost more so than this one. And look at the line. I'm getting a really, really bold, like what I would expect from the core Quin Magenta. That really bold magenta color on the edge. This is very muted in here. I can certainly see some of the graphite in places on the top there. And I'll bring all these closer to you. But this one, like the Daniel Smith color, like that is just... Wow. Okay. And then you said you wanted to see some of the core with the blue. So I'm going to put the blue here. Let that go like that. I'm going to definitely need clean water. Double checking. I'm just double checking chat to make sure I haven't missed anything. Yeah. I'm liking it. All right, so right now we're doing this one. So the graphite blue and the graphite with the yellow. So there's the graphite blue. I'm going to grab some of the graphite yellow. You guys can't see it because it's off screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn my tray around so that you guys can see it. So there's the yellow. There's the blue. I forgot to keep using my clean water for clean water. And right now, both my clean and dirty water look nasty. All right. And coming back for the core, I'm going to grab just a little... Are you guys ready for this? The cutest thing ever. Little baby pipette. I'm just dropping an extra drop or two in my core Quin so that I can get that color out of there. I'm about like where I need to, if you guys, you can't see it, but I am almost to where I'm going to have to fill this pan back up. And I just love the core colors. Okay, so for those of you who, if you missed the beginning, what did you miss? You missed me fighting with, or fixing the problem with my broken camera. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you definitely want to check out the beginning of the stream afterwards. Hey, at least I can laugh at myself, right? All right, so that's the magenta with the blue. I'm actually going to grab just a little bit more of that blue. See if we can't get it a little more purple looking. Look at that. Oh, now that's beautiful. That's starting to get like almost like a plum. I'm going to grab just a little bit more. Oh yeah. Okay. I like it. All right. You guys ready? Let's see. So this is the core magenta with the blue. Per Starving Artist Collective's request. Ooh. Okay, see, I would definitely, I could see beautiful things for that. Like that color is gorgeous. Oh yeah, that color's gorgeous. Look at that. Pull that out. Just taking more clean-ish water and getting to where that was so it can just kind of travel and do its thing. Let it do its thing. Okay, and then lastly, it was the yellow. So the Quin Magenta from Core and the Derivan Yellow. Star says, ooh, I do like what the liquid graphite does with watercolor. I will find a tube today, have mixed my gravitint pans with watercolor pans for plein air, but now must have a tube for home. That's awesome. And so then Jacqueline asked, could you mix those colors in a half pan? So that was what I was just testing earlier, where I had put down a, again, I'm going back for the Quin Magenta one more time, and then this is the yellow, so I'm going to mix this up with that. I'm just getting a lot. I'm really loading this brush up with some strong, getting it full of pigment. Like right now, like that brush is full of pigment, so I want to mix that in with this. This is with the yellow, and I'll probably bring some more in just like I did with the this one. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of, I'm just going to set that palette aside so that we can get back to all the other things with this after I show you this one. I'm going to grab a little bit more of that yellow, bring it in. Grab a little bit more of that yellow, bring it in. So I'm looking to see where this really went, really went purple. I was hoping I was going to see, and I'll probably clean the area over there because I did get some of this in it. Now separate that out. So don't contaminate the color moving on, but. All right, so this is with the yellow. So the magenta mixed with the yellow. Which I have a ton of it. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to scrape these up and put them somewhere. All right, here we go. Mixed with yellow. So Jacqueline, I'm sorry. I know I started to answer you and I kind of, the train jumped the track there. Well, that's interesting. What I had done before was I had used the gray 9 earlier today because I needed it dry for something that I'm about to show you guys, because I promised a tip of something you could do with this that you're not going to want to miss, and that's coming. But I needed it to be used and dry beforehand. So the paint, the graphite that was on my palette, what I just did was take that and see, could I re-wet it? So that was when you just saw me put the drops of water on the palette. that was from dry. So I would say, and I will do this for you. I will do this because now that I see this effect here, that what Starving just showed me, like asked by her asking for me to do this, I am definitely going to dry a little bit of this gray 9 in a half pan to have on hand for when I want to add some textures like this. And yeah, I will definitely share that. I will show that to you guys, and I can post that on Facebook and on MeWe. I can also share it to my YouTube community tab for those of you who might be interested in catching it there. So that you can see just how well it dries in the pan once I put it there. But again, the only place, and I did put the link in the description, I'm sure that if you are in Australia, like Starving Artist Collective, you'd probably walk into your local shop and pick this up right off the shelf. Blick did not carry it anymore because I did a search and it showed me a link to Blick, and I was like, oh wait, Blick should have it, because I couldn't find it when I first went to Blick. And no, Blick did not have it. It said no, not available, not currently available on this site. So Blick doesn't have it. Jerry's only had like one left of the permanent, not the rewettable, of the permanent gray 9, and I couldn't find any of the regular with them either. So, you know, there's that as well. But Jackson's, which there's a link in the description, they do carry it. They carry all the colors. So any Cat's Art picks, any that can withstand the amount of water that you want to throw at it, I would think would be an acceptable choice. I am tipping this bottom one, so I know I'm making it travel some. It was just pooling, and I didn't want it to pool because I wanted to get... I'm actually sucking some of that up because I want to see the gradient that I get. So I'm just pulling a little bit of this extra that was at the bottom off. So back to Cat's Art picks. You know, I would try any that can handle the water. At least 140 pound watercolor paper. This is 90 though. If you're not going to do a ton of water, like the Bee water paper in a 90 pound might be okay. So grind down a charcoal stick and add water to it in a small bowl so I can paint with it. Yeah, I'm just going to think anything that can handle the water. Anything that can handle the water and or charcoal, I would think, you know what I mean, would be a good fit for that. Oh, so you're out of watercolor paper. Only have paper for acrylic or oils. Would that work? I don't know because do you have any watercolor ground? I'm just thinking if it's a paper for acrylic, is it treated with gesso? And if it's treated with gesso, is the water going to bead off and not soak in? That would be my question. So then my other thing would be, well, if you have some sketch paper and you have some watercolor ground, I don't know, maybe you tape that down and paint some watercolor ground on that paper and then go at it. I don't know. Or if you have do you have a mixed media paper? Do you have mixed media paper? That might work. A mixed media paper that's of a heavier weight might do the trick for you too, because it would be able to handle different things and some water. It wouldn't have the sizing like watercolor, but if you're using the charcoal, then you don't necessarily need the sizing, so mixed media paper might work. Yeah, right. It is very strong. I was thinking the same thing when you said. I was like, you know, I went in with so much magenta on my brush, and we're gonna do that because right here I do have some magenta I can see in this, so I'm gonna pull that out. I actually, in an effort to clean out this section, I'm going to pull all this stuff away that had the magenta with it. Okay. So here's the yellow. Now with the yellow, I'm rinsing this out because I'm not going to put this into my palette over here. Okay, so that brush is clean. The Quin Magenta. All right, so this time taking just a tiny bit. So I just have a tiny bit on the, well, there we go. And I have even less now on the tip of my brush. And we'll blend that in and see. Can we get, I might need a little bit more than that. I do definitely see that like orange like color that I think you were going for. So I'm gonna grab just a little bit more. Only this time I'm actually gonna put it over here so that I have it and I can bring it in as I need it. All right, so you see how bright and bold, like you see how bold the Quin Magenta is. So when you look at like the Quin Magenta here, if it would focus for me, see that edge I was saying, how bold that is? And then here you can see you actually do have some of that graphite kind of sitting in there. And then that, of course, and I may not have put enough in, but that's that one. There, look at the one with Daniel Smith though. Look at how that went. I love that Quin Rose with this. I love that. There is it with the blue, which I think is gorgeous. And that's with the yellow, but we'll do it again with the yellow, only with a lot more yellow. I'm not going to put any more than that of the magenta in there. See, again, still that may already have been too much. Because it's definitely not yellow. There's not enough yellow in that to get it to that, to more of like an orange. Taking a little bit more though. Why not? All right. Whatever this is what we've got. There. So this is going to be very, very muted for sure. So this is the yellow with just a little bit of the Quin Magenta from Core. And so this would be the same color. You guys can't see it. There we go. Sorry. Oh, I got water on my ferrule again. Okay. And I'm going to go just grab some more clear water. Let that kind of really pull out. All right, and I'll just let that travel however it might. Okay. So there you go, Starving Artist Collective. So there's mixing it with watercolor. So fantastic. I'm like now, yep. So here is a little half pan. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to mark on it that this is the Derivan. This is going to be gray 9. And so if I don't mark it now, future me is not going to remember. And it is Derivan. Right. Liquid pencil. Okay. So I will also get the answer to Jacqueline's question, and I will share this with you guys in the marker. So I'm just going to take that and I'm going to put a little bit in there, and we will let it dry. I'll let it dry out over the next few days. I'll let you know how long does it take to dry. And then how does it work when it re-wets. So I did not fill the pan up all the way. I'm just going to, when I fill my when I fill my pans, even with watercolors, I like to tap them down just to kind of get that to settle in there and hopefully not come all over my hand like I just did. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to let that sit. It's just going to sit out here on my desk, and it is about 2/3 of the way full, if you guys can see that. So that's just the gray 9, right? I'll let it sit and I'll give you updates. How does it do? And I'll show you it being re-wet. Okay, so I will have that answer for you. All right, let me show you something else that it can do. I'm going to let these dry, so at the end I can come back and share that with you as well. Let's talk about ways to use them. Is this dry now? It's still not quite. I want that even a little drier than that. If I have to, I will use my heat tool because it's worked for me before. And I did it earlier. I'm actually going to pour this nasty water into here. Yep. And I'm going to get a little bit more clean water. And maybe I can remember one's clean, one's not. All right, so if you have not already, I believe this is the one. There we go. There's the art groups. If you're not a member, join us. Love to have you. Love to see your art. I am just a couple pictures away. Couple more things to be shared, and I will be able to put up a new group cover photo. The cover photo will be the same for MeWe and for Facebook. I'm going to turn this back around now that we're done so that we just have, there are the 3 colors that I've been working with. And I'm going to get that kind of off the edge there. Okay. So different ways that you can use this. How can we use it? Because we're George and talking about, it being the liquid. Yeah, those are really pretty. So far, my favorite, though, I have to say, out of the color, I love it mixed with the blue, but that Daniel Smith, the way that Daniel Smith and that are kind of reacting and mingling together, I'm really liking that. Oh, okay. What do we got? Okay. I'm just double checking the time, too. So, I printed out so see, this is actually what the reference photo was. In black and white. So I printed it out and then I flipped it. And one of the things that I found, and big tip for you guys coming, I painted some down. So this is, because I said I was going to compare it. This is the charcoal. So I'm going to need that. That was the charcoal from the other day. But I took some of the gray 9 and I just painted it. Basically, I used just enough water to get it to spread. This is just basic. This is printer paper. Okay. This is just like this, when it was printed off on the printer with just regular old flimsy printer paper. Once you have this down, in painting with it, one of the things that you can do, so I applied that just with a flat wash. Okay, this was a 3/4 Golden Tack-On by Royal Langnickel. There you go. That's what I used to apply this. It was the gray 9 straight from the tube. But once it's down and dry, and this is definitely dry now, so you see, you still have a little bit of that sheen like you would from graphite. But if you notice, it's down here in the corner. But let me show you something. Once you've got it down, if you're painting with it, whatever, and you're drawing, and you need that little extra sparkly highlight, this is just a stylus. I could use, again, whatever you choose. But if I take that, I'm just using the fine point that's on it. There we go. If I come back through, once I go over that, see how much more shiny it gets? Right, there we go. See how shiny it gets? It's going to pick up a lot more light. And that's just going back over it with a stylus. So I can actually throw in some extra highlights that way, which is one of the things I was thinking would be helpful for when I do, like, for example, my reference, which was the bird. And you've seen the bird. You saw the bird in the thumbnail. Can I bring that in? Will it let me bring it in for you? Will it? I'm just looking up here because I have it on this screen and I'm wondering. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat because when you go over it, now you see the highlights. Like you can put, now this has a sheen. It has a sheen to it. It is not matte by any means. Like this was the charcoal. The charcoal was matte. If I go over the charcoal, is that going to give me something else? Like, when I did that, I'll go on the darker one. Like, see, no. No, you're not seeing that anywhere. It's not doing it with that. So with this, I go over it, and now I get that really shiny, as if I burnished with graphite look to it. Very shiny. So I can see different ways that we could use that. The image, that's what I wanted to show you. If I can get that to come up real quick. Okay, I'm gonna bring him in here just so you guys can see him. And I'm gonna try to pop it just down in this. I knew it was gonna do the same thing as last time. So that's him. And we're just gonna leave him full screen for a second. So this is the little guy, but you see all the wisps that are in like his feathers. If I want to highlight those, I could see that more. I could come back over this maybe with like my stylus and use that to kind of highlight those wisps. So that was one way that I was thinking that this might be useful. A technique to add to it. Another thing we can do, and my best tip is coming in just a minute. Another thing that we can do is, excuse me. Wow. So I told you I had this guy out, and one of the things we can do, I'm just taking a little bit of the blue and I'm just getting this a little more liquid. And if you guys haven't tried this with your watercolors before, this will absolutely work with watercolor too. I can take that, so now it's on my, that's going to flow. I want it, definitely want it fluid. Right? And I'm just going to come in here and put that, there we go. I need that to travel. I'm just putting it on the end of my nib. As I pull it off. Don't pull it off. It needs to be on there. All right. Let me see. I need it to be flowing. This is why I was going to put, this is why I was saying I was considering the ink I showed you in the beginning. I had the ink, all right, there we go. Let's see if that is hopefully flowing now. And if it would start working for me. I can see it on there and it should be flowing down, and I don't want to just all of a sudden get a blob. I need to be able to dip it. It's just not wanting to. I haven't used this nib yet either, and that could be part of my problem why this is not just flowing, because there's plenty on there and it's definitely plenty liquid enough. It should be flowing, but again, all right, that just dripped. So let's see if we have something now. What I should have done was grabbed one that I knew was going to work. Well, there we go. There we go. Now we're flowing. Haha. Finally. Sorry. Oh. Okay. With what? Oh my gosh, Joseph. Oh my goodness. It is wonderful that way. Wonderful. So if you're inking something, especially if you want it to blend into the background, I can take a watercolor, right? And I can just sit there and I can just, hello world. Right? Hello. Now, the thing with this, once this dries, so for George pencil art, it being, a liquid pencil, I could probably, with one of my nibs, get a much more delicate line, thinner line, than I might be able to. And look at the blue, I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. The blue is coming through on that. Like, this is on watercolor paper, but the blue is definitely it is showing through somewhat as well. So sure, I mean, I can do that, but if I was doing I'm just going to rinse this out of what I put on there. I'm going to rinse it out. And are you ready? I want to show you. So I'm going to take that beautiful... Oh, here was the one. I'll use the one from that I used from Daniel Smith. I'm going to put a little bit of water in this. I've got my well. I'm just going to put a little bit of water in here. I actually put more water on my... Wrong one. I put more water on my palette. So the color that I mixed up that was the Daniel Smith with the graphite. I'm picking that up right now and putting it in here. And it's a little too thin. It's a little too thin. Is it going to work? I don't know. I made it pretty thin. I would be able to thicken it up, put a little bit more. There's a little bit more of that blue. So that was the blue in with the mixture of the Daniel Smith one. So I can take my watercolors, and if I dip my dip pen in here, again, I'm trying to avoid like getting this on my paper so much, or spilling it on my paper. Right. Just again, maybe I'm going to do right. Just thinking a little pansy or something. All right. Just want to set this down so it doesn't go rolling away. So you can put those down there, but then, if I draw something out, I can draw that out, but then I can come back and now let's say I want to paint said picture. I've got my line work done. I can paint it. And of course, it's going to pick up because it is water-based. Whatever you put down there. Right? And I'll just take some of this I thought was pretty. It's dried, but wipe that up and drop it in there. And let's just see how it spreads. Because this was the core with the blue. With the blue. But I can get that really nice light wash by, if I just want a nice light wash on the back, I could do that. Here's another thing that you can do. So remember I said that with the charcoal, the problem like with the blending it, I'm going to probably ruin a stump doing this, but I don't care. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. They're not that expensive. So if I take one of my little blending stumps, and I'm just going to dip the tip of this in water. Okay? I'm going to dip the tip of this in water. I'm going to check it here because this is the charcoal. I know, actually, let me just show you. So here's the one I showed you where I put it all down. Let me slide this up first. So where I put it down on the paper, I can come in with the damp stump, right? And I can get a nice, soft blending with that damp stump. This is dry. So this is from dry. You know, and yeah, it's the stump now is going to be, like I said, I'm going to ruin one of my stumps. Is it ruined? Oh, well, I've wet, so I'm going to fray the tip much easier. However, I can go in there and then see, just like you would be able to regularly, right? So I can do some blending with a stump like that. So my question is, I'm going to not only ruin one end, I'm going to ruin both. Dip that in the water and then come back over here, because can we use the charcoal the same way? So again, now this is wet. Slide this back down. There was the charcoal from last week. And you see, it's almost like it's not blending it out. Like this just moved the whole thing nicely. And this is trying to lift it off. And there. So that charcoal still works differently. And so Rob, if you are seeing this on the replay, because I haven't seen you here, you know, I hope these little things in comparison like that are helping you know, does it work the same as the liquid graphite. Now, here's another one. And see, this is why I needed this to be dry, so that I could really be able to show you. Is this dry yet? Okay, that's pretty dry. Pretty dry. We'll try it. I'm just gonna take a regular old eraser, rolling that up, and I made a mistake. So ready for this? Now, mind you, I put this on with a nib, right? So I put this on with a nib. So that nib did some scratching of said paper. But, you ready for this? I have my brush right there. Okay. Check this out. Come on, hello, focus. I don't know how well you guys are seeing it, but a lot of the gray graphite color is gone, and what is left is that blue. Would all the colors work that way? I'm not positive. But now if I go here to this, and let me grab this one is the one I use on graphite. So first, let's just look at just taking a regular General's kneaded eraser. Can I lift that off of there? Right, so after it's dry, yes, I can lift that right out of there. Also, with an eraser, I've just smeared that terribly. There he goes. I'm like, my eraser's just moving it. I can erase into that. Where's my, hold on. See, I put a lot of stuff right here at my fingertips. The Tombow Mono. And this is regular printer paper, guys. Okay, this that I'm taking it off of, this is just regular printer paper. Okay, and that's after it was dry. So, okay, go back in there. I hope that helps. If we look at, do you guys use a different kneaded eraser for graphite or charcoal? Is it just me? Do you care which gets into what? Because I have one that's like, this one's charcoal, that one's graphite, and I do have them marked. Do you have to? I don't know. Is it just one of my weird, quirky things that I do? Probably. So after, now where there were lines on the paper, it is pulling. So there were grooves. I could see some grooves. You remember when I just did the 3 lines? I scratched the lines in the paper with the stylus. It is picking up out of those lines. That's interesting. Well, there's something new for you. But as far as, it wasn't lifting too much from the rest of it. The mono, where it's really at its mass tone on the edges, not wanting to take it out. Over here, where it was a nice even wash. Yeah, I'm able to lift some. So, you guys can't even see, but yeah, I am able to lift some. As for the kneaded eraser, that's not really pulling much out. So, okay, I hope that helped. And as far as to answer Rob's question about can they be all worked the same ways? I don't necessarily think that these would work in all the same way, but okay, I have been promising a tip for you that I know you're going to want to see. So let's get to that, because I think this is pretty cool. We have been talking about, you saw me have the issue with the Lowell Cornell transfer paper, right? And I'm just grabbing, this is just one of my green boards with a new piece of the B watercolor paper on it. Okay. If I take, and this was done with the gray 9. So with the gray 9. I told you I painted a nice big swatch on the back. And aside from, wanting to know how does it dry, like does it give you the sheen, the different things that you can do, like here with if you use your stylus or something and scratch it, you're going to get that more reflective properties of the graphite. So you could bring highlights out that way. Blend, you can blend with the stump. But and again, this is just really thin, regular copy paper. Just regular paper you'd get for your printer. Obviously, you see it wrinkled. I used water. This wrinkled. But I'm like, is it going to make a difference? I don't know. We're going to find out. But I believe that what I did here, you could do the same thing on a piece of watercolor paper. But I didn't want to waste the piece of watercolor paper first for this. So what I did was, here's a piece of the B paper. Okay. Here is a printout of my, the bird that I showed you. Yes. I am using the rewettable. This, you see right there, and it's very important. This is the rewettable. Okay, so everything I'm showing everybody today is only because it's rewettable. If you get the permanent one, it's not going to act like this. So if you're interested, make sure you're very careful in what you get. So now that I've painted this on the back, here is my piece of watercolor paper where I want to put, and I think I'm going to put him, I'm just thinking about the size where my paper is. I'm going to tip this sideways slightly. And I think I want him right about here. I'm going to move my palette for a minute because it's going to be in the way. I'm going to want him to be about there on my paper. I can see through this, so I can see where my paper is. And I think I want my bird to be about there. So I'm actually going to just give this a quick tape to my desk. And to where my little board is. So I'm going to set this, pop that there. Put it here. Okay. Now, we talked about last week, you can use a colored pencil, use a pen, use, something that is different colors so that you've gone over the lines. You can use whatever you choose. I'm just going to grab, I don't want something that can bleed through. This is a regular printer paper. Yeah. I was hoping I had like a colored pencil right here, which is one thing I don't see that I have right on my desk. No. I can't believe I'm going to do it with this, but whatever. I'm going to do it with this. Actually, I'm going to use one of the ones I don't care for. I was grabbing my Signo, my Univol, the white gel pen, and this is actually just a secure jelly roll pen. I don't care for these so much. Just so I will know where I've gone over them. So I'm going to want there to be the branches about here. And my bird. So I put his outline. I'm just going to catch a couple real quick areas, like where the transitions are, so that I will know. A little bit of his back is showing there. And then I'm going to let this be jagged. Although, because I'm using this on the back, and it will re-wet. Should have taken my brace off before I did this. I'm going just inside where the little fluffy wisps would come out. I want a bit of a line here. This is where he's darkest. And again, I'm just kind of giving myself a couple little frames of reference to go off of. And coming down towards his feet, I actually I was going to say, I think I want to do it with something finer. I'm just going to kind of denote little marks. So that's not quite. Okay. So you see my little bird. Wouldn't that have been absolutely horrible to go through all that and be like, yeah, and it's great, and then you know, take it away and it didn't work. So I can make my own transfer paper. I honestly think that that's probably going to be able to transfer more than once. In fact, let's just grabbing the other piece of printer paper that had him on the back side. If I turn that over, and just to look, I'm just going to go over just real quick, just that area where I've already done, just to see. And yeah. So just going back over, you know, just that top side of the bird, it'll still work. So I would get I mean, this wouldn't be like a one and done. I could just take a plain piece of paper, where maybe I, you know, traced it and I had tracing paper, but I didn't have, I like swear I just like, thought I just put white jelly roll on my face, but you know, whatever. So there we go. You can turn around and take a piece of paper that maybe, you know, like I would take a piece of, maybe I take a piece of Canson XL watercolor, because I'm not a fan of that paper for watercolor, but I could certainly paint some of this on it and let it dry. And you saw, like, I just made a nice, dark, smooth wash over the paper. Let it dry. Then I come around. So you guys saw me do it with this one. We did that nice smooth wash with the gray. This is on the B watercolor paper. If I then were to take my page, and now it is right here, so I got my finger on both sides so I can see. I'm going to move this out of the way for 1 second. All right, ready? So here, I'm just going to flip that over. That's where my swatch is. Now, if I had this on, I can actually see it now. I can see the darker part. Okay. It works. And if you look at this one, where I just did that on there, you can see that, yeah, it took off some of that, the graphite. It took some of it off. It definitely deposited it onto my paper. But how well did that work on even just using like the printer paper? Use what you have, folks. If you have some liquid graphite, paint it on test it, paint it on a piece of paper, and give it a try. See what it'll do. So now for this little bird here, just because now that he's there, I just want to give him a little bit of color. Won't take but a moment. If you have any other questions about this, please drop them in the comment. But I'm thinking this guy is like, all right, so the area, this area here, I'm going to make him all, why not? We'll just see if it works. I'm going to try to go wet and wet and just see what we get. So I'm going to wet the bottom part of his body. And I'm not going too hard. I don't want to erase my lines right now. I want to kind of know where my guides are. But if they get lighter, I'm not bothered by that. Right, so now in the center, he has some dark. Like, it's like really, it's dark in here. It kind of comes down this way. So just coming in right with the gray 9. My paper's wet, so I'm coming straight in with it. And now, that's stop using my clean water. I'm going to want some blue. And as I've seen, if I want blue, then I need that to be there a little bit, maybe a little thinner, or I'll have to lift it. Right, so that's going to be blue. He has some blue down in here. Some of those blue values. And he definitely has blue. You know, it would have helped if my reference photo, if I flipped my reference photo around the other way too. So I'm looking at it and I'm having to look backwards. So here I'm just kind of thinking, like, I'm thinking feathers and just trying to put wisps in here, because if there's white space, I'm going to want that. And then I'll just help add to his little highlights. And he's got on his head, that part's white. So this here is white, but it comes right over. And I'm kind of paying attention to what direction his feathers are going to start to turn, because they would go towards the back of his head. And there is on his head, he's got like, it's really the brightest blue. So I'm wondering, remember how I said if once I was there, when I like pulled that back? Yeah, see, I'm not getting that blue color, just leaving behind. But it was also not super strong. The pigment wasn't super strong either. I'm gonna go for a stronger version, because the side of him, like here, is definitely more blue. And this is some, where I think for sure, if you had some watercolors that you wanted to blend with it to get more of that look, and it's darker, it's much darker. I just grabbed some of the 9, the gray 9, because as it moves forward, especially right in here, it's going to be its darkest value. And that abuts right up to white on his cheeks. So I'm kind of leaving some of that space and just negatively painting it. And it's not looking as dark for you guys as it is for me so far. Because all underneath him, like all under his, like here, this is very dark. And that's kind of starting to take off a little bit right there on me, but it's fine. This is very dark. I'm like, I don't think that lets me flip it. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Around his eyes, he has these bands that go. So almost right over his, like the top of his beak. And he has a very thin one here. There's like a little bit of a white spot. And I'm just pulling it into where the white space is because it would be. And this all becomes blue. This like the it's almost like, I would imagine it's all indigo, but it actually looks like a really dark band, like he's a little bandit. There. Okay. We don't see much of that on the other side. This little beak like protrudes here, and his beak is almost white. It's like it comes out. It's very hard. It's very hard to do this. I'm surprised. Like, it's very hard to do this when you're looking at it backwards. Like, his little beak is going to come like this. Like, on my monitor, it's still reversed. We're just going to give him his little beak. And he has a little bit of a gray marks that go on that. There. And around here. But underneath gets very blue. And it's hard to make that very blue with this. So like this is like, as it dries, it's getting a little bit of that blue, but, and of course, you know, I did the wet wash, but this is not staying wet, so it's not just like feathering out. Feathering out, sorry. It was funny. Or punny. Whatever. So we come around to there. But here, as that's trying to run away, well, there actually is some shadow in this way. I'm going to lift that. So I can lift it out. It gets yellow. We get yellow. I'm going to be careful because we know what happens when we mix our yellow and our blue. But he has a lot of yellow that wisps down from under here. And I know that's going to want to go green if I keep messing with it. I'm going to try not to. His face doesn't really. He does have a tiny bit to the back here that gets a little bit of yellow tone in it. I'm trying to be really careful not to put too much to make that go green, or work it, you know, work one area over the other too much. These are definitely more in the yellow. And see, now that I'm like working that down, like I'm seeing a lot of the yellow come through. So I'm just going to let it be muddled. Just kind of dabbing it in there. There is definitely a section that goes white. Underneath, we start to pick up more the way of shadow. This is going to be just a very rudimentary, really quick little, because I wanted to show you that you can do, just trying to follow which direction his little feathers go, right? He has the little feathers that kind of, I'm loving the way this 6 holds its point. The little feathers that kind of wisp out there. On this side is a lot, like those are like white. We get tufted titmouses. So tufted titmouse birds, they don't have these beautiful colors as a blue tit. The blue tits have such pretty colors to them. I saw that Tara said that, oh, there it goes. They like little acrobats. She likes to watch them in her garden. So you guys have them in Ireland. I have not seen really one that, so I was like, oh, I want to do him. He just looked like the fluffiest little, I just pictured him just as fluffy little bird. And again, just kind of paying attention to which direction. His feathers they're down and around. There will be some white space, so I want to leave some of that. And this is going to get lighter. So I'm just going to go back in with my water. And over here, I'm pulling it, which you can't see. I've pulled it down. Let's not knock that on the floor. And I'm just added some water. So I've just thinned this down even more. Just trying to get a lighter value. And I can really see the graphite kind of rising and moving around on that when I do it that way. Because on this part, there's just very few little, like, this is white. A lot more, because it's really bright. So while that part is probably yellow, all the light was glowing on that side of him. It's coming from this direction. So I'm just kind of like trying to negative paint in the direction that those feathers would be going, and then we'll turn that into as they become more, as they get up here. Now I can take a lot longer with this and, you know, really turn him into something to be seen. But I want to make sure, now underneath here, now this blue actually carries right down and it gets more of like almost grayish. This whole strip with the white that comes this way, like that, the center of their chest, that carries all the way. So it's definitely darker. It is definitely darker under where his legs are going to be coming out. And again, I'm using just the tip of my brush. I am barely touching and just kind of wisping it along here as I go. This area here where it's like kind of over where his little leg is out grabbing the branch, which is actually this one because it's backwards. It would so help if I would have flipped my reference on the screen. So this part is not as dark. Okay. All right, Tara. Yes. I will just talk to you later. Thank you so much. Tara Giblin Art, our moderator. Her link is in the description. Oh, and she just challenged me. Can we go ahead and talk about that while I'm making a mess of my little bird guy here? She has challenged me to do a 5-minute watercolor landscape painting. So I will catch up with you, Tara. So I have accepted that challenge, and I'm going to be recording that for you. And I hope to have that video for you guys by Tuesday. I am really hoping to have that video for you by Tuesday. She did hers, came out great. She said in her video, if you haven't seen it, go check out her channel. It is her latest video. She learned quite a bit from doing that. And yes. Hi, Jessica. Yeah, George. 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes. Set the timer and go. So needless to say, you guys know if I'm going to be doing that, I mean, I'm not even doing this bird in 5 minutes. This is like taking us anyway. I'm going to do it. I will record it. I will have that for you. Again, I'm hoping that will be up on Tuesday. Unless I get it done and I'm like, oh, I'll do it on Sunday. I thought about doing it live, but I was like, oh, you're going to come on for 5 minutes. By the time people realize that you're live, you'd be gone. You'd be off. So I'm going to record it. I will record it and share that with you. But yeah. So we'll see what comes out. We'll see what comes out. Go see Tara's. She did hers. So after the stream, go check that out. So yep, the gauntlet has been tossed down. Challenge was accepted. And she has encouraged me to also then pass it on. So I've been sitting here thinking, oh, who am I going to challenge to do this? And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about doing it. I am, definitely, for sure. I'm excited about doing it. This little guy is just like, I can't get the level of blues that I want. And I'm, I knew it was going to be muddled, or muted, rather. Muted is a better word than muddled. Like, I knew he was going to be muted. Because these colors are. But I think that they, he said, don't pick me. George goes, don't pick me. George, you don't work in watercolor. I was like, I know somebody else that doesn't work in watercolor, but I don't know. Maybe he would. Does he have watercolor? Are you still with us, sir? I know he knows I know the person I'm talking to knows I'm talking to this person. And I want this. This is like really dark blue under here. But it's like, I can't. I bet if I kept building this up, I'd be able to build up those blue values. One of my questions was, like, one of the things I was wondering is if I were to come in, I'll probably scoop all of this extra up and put those right into half pans, because I'm not going to waste that paint or that pencil, rather. Okay, so there's like just a couple blue wispies in here. He's got darker. Kind of goes up into his little area. This is much darker. These parts should be much darker. Of course, his eye is going to be dark as well. He's got a little bit here that's darker. And I think this is just, it would be a matter of just continuing to build up those values. But it's really a bright blue. So he may not have been the best choice, but I thought he was the cutest little thing. Just this little fluffy bird. Makes me think of the birds that stick around and endure our crazy winters. Like, they're here all year. So we did the feeder last. Oh, look at that. Okay. Yeah, I like that. So the areas where it's supposed to be white, I'm just coming through with just the little bit that was on the tip of my brush here. And I'm just going to go in the direction it needs to be. And just kind of help give a little bit of shadows. This is a lot brighter white on the actual bird. You don't see as much of this, but he needs dark. I'm thinking this is a blue tit. Do you? Do you? You do. Okay, well, listen, I'm not going to name any names yet. You'll have to stay tuned to the video. Just saying, you'll have to stay tuned for the video to find out who I throw the challenge out to. But perhaps you should think about what you might paint in 5 minutes. I was like, 5 minutes? Are you kidding me? Sure, yeah, I'll take on that challenge. Why not? Why not? Oh, yeah. Think about it. Just saying. Give that some thought. All right. We'll throw some darker color right in there. This is good. That'll blend out. His around here is still not going to be dark, quite dark enough. but, and I know I have not painted his eye in yet. Let's do that. Let's give him an eyeball. He needs an eye. He's got an eye for these things. And again, I'm going to do a little bit of negative painting there. Because this one area, like where the highlight is, it's not stark white. It would just be a very pale. It's a very light, actually a very light gray. It's not like the brightest value. It doesn't match the brightest value on the rest of the bird. So there we go. Just dull that down with a little bit of gray. Same with his beak. We're going to pull some of this through. There we go. These areas, or there's the feathers that are white. I'm just adding a little bit more shadows so they look feathery. This is darker where it comes down, so throw a little bit more in. George. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm like, I have an idea. I mean, I already have an idea of what it is that I want. All right, now I'm just going to paint in where his little feet are. It's like, it comes down, it goes like that. Yeah, these just kind of hang over together. And again, I'm not going to be able to really get the details I want, because this would be much lighter actually, and quite blue. And I could sit there and like go through and lift out. I can get this brush to get my point back. So it's going to have like, I would need to lift some of those white areas off, because like their toes, you've seen birds, like the legs and they're literally like their toes leading up to their talons. They definitely have, I don't know, I would certainly believe that dinosaurs, I can do that. I have an idea for how you would come back and get this to be, so I'm just not going to mess with that too much right now. His other little one is like, should have started with the blue, really light with the blue. Because they're actually more blue. See how that looks? That's like so much better. Yeah, that's so much better. They're actually blue. I don't know. Actually, we do know. It lifts right out. Let's see. I'm almost done. I know we've been here for a bit, guys. I just wanted to get him. I probably would need to let that dry a bit more to really get it to, like, but this part of his leg was dark. Where I made the mistake is I kept going. I didn't look back. Always check your reference photo. Do you guys do that? Like, always check your reference photo multiple times. So I'm just working really thin with the blue up here. You can kind of see that on the palette. And I'm just going to kind of go over. I want this to be more blue. More blue than gray. And this is definitely... And I might come back with like... I could come back with a liner, like a liner pen or something. And, you know, put the darker lines in. Come back with, again, like something that I can highlight and really emphasize those and bring them out. I'm just, if I can get this to point. Just refining the point on my brush so I can get a little bit more feather texture showing in here. I don't have enough, like, actually color on there. Wasn't enough pigment in it. kind of give him some feathery strokes. And he's on a branch. Let's put him on a branch. And actually, you know what? I'm going to take a little bit of this and this color that Starving Heavy mixed up. I'm going to mute that down even more. Why not? And we're going to use this and do our branch. So I'm cheating a little bit. I've created a color we wouldn't otherwise have been able to make. Had we not grabbed watercolors, but that's okay. So this was the yellow mixed with the core Quin magenta. And I'm just going to use it for my branch color. Really? Okay, you're going to send me down a rabbit hole there, Starving Artist Collective, but I am going to check that out. And now that Tara's not here, let's not tell her. If I do that, I'll throw that one back to her. And if you guys have not seen her video, you really do need, I'm whispering like she could hear us. You really do need to go check that out because, oh my gosh, it was brilliant. I was laughing. I laughed so hard with some of the things that she said. I'm not going to spoil it. You just check it out. Definitely check it out. If you haven't already seen it. Yeah, it was good. Alright, just putting in a little bit more. I'm actually going to pull in a little bit of our gray 9 and the blue so that I can get a little bit more shadow up underneath where he's parked himself here. And I need shadows like in between his little legs, or his little toes and legs. Yeah, I'm going to make note of that there, Starving, and I am definitely going to check that out. So this one here, you actually see, he's got another one that comes behind here. Because, you know, they grab on. They have grabbed onto that. And I'm just going to like kind of try to get some of that. This is his foot, and he has these segments. And don't think you're doing that in a 5-minute painting. Oh my goodness. I am excited. I can't wait to do it. I have been trying ever since she threw that out there this weekend, and if my weekend didn't get crazy, and again, I completely cleaned the studio. I went through everything in the studio, and I watched her video Saturday, and I was like, she was going through, and then when she threw that challenge out and she said me, I was like, oh. Yeah, sure, I'll do it. Yeah, why not? Why not? Why not? Okay, so there you go, guys. And then just he could definitely use some more details for sure. This is just a very basic, like this would be where I would say, okay, here's my start. You know, where am I going to go from here? Like, I've got my basics in. Now where am I going to take it? He's definitely... Oh, I didn't even put the dark underneath him. Okay, hold on. I at least have to do that part. I started it, but I didn't come back. Like the blue and the dark. There we go. So underneath his beak, because how do you even have a separation at the bottom of his beak? There's nothing there. Again, I'm trying to make sure that I do leave some white for highlights under him. just comes right down in there, like so. Okay. His beak would come around more. It's not exact, but it's fine. More like the dark right there. You're here. Hello, Rob. You inspired. Make sure you watch the replay. You inspired today's live stream. And we are working with liquid pencil. Based off of one of your question last week. So definitely we're almost done. And then I would say go catch the replay. And this is so small. You're not going to see all those. You're not going to see all those details. And there's definitely some more, like darker where it comes out up into him. Okay. Those talons. I mean, that's like that's what got it. It grew. It grew. Got away on me. It's fine. This would actually be a tiny little one. It shouldn't be this big. His pinky is not that big. I will erase it afterwards and I'll fix it because his pinky actually just kind of goes out like right to here. This shouldn't be there. So, can you lift? Let's see. Just clean water. I want to lift out this area. Okay, because this one would come all the way around. This one actually shouldn't exist right there. So I'm going to lift that off. He was not anatomically correct. Our pinkies are not longer. I say pinky. Do birds have pinkies? I don't know. Anyway. So there we go. He's not as, he could be more, but we didn't take all that time. With doing everything else, there's just not enough time to come back. I mean, I could just keep streaming and streaming. I could sit here and hang out till whenever, but you all have lives. You all have things that require your attention, I'm sure. Just make that a little bit more yellow. Just throwing in a little extra yellows here and there. Okay. Yeah, Rob. Oh, I hope you do, because it was definitely you absolutely inspired this when you asked last week if the pencil, the liquid charcoal, if the liquid charcoal was similar or could be used like a liquid graphite, basically. I shared your question. Okay, so there's our little blue titmouse, our little bird. And he was the fluffiest little guy. So ready, I'm going to hold him up and I'm going to show you one more time our reference photo. And then you can see he's not the best, but ready? Is that, wait a minute, is that him? He's not horrible either. There he is. Like I said, I could do a whole lot more with this little guy, but in the interest of everyone's time, she's gonna stream till the cows come home. Yeah, be a long time. We don't have cows. This would not be home to any cow. They would never come. I don't know. I do join the art groups, both Facebook and on MeWe. Of course, I just put them right here below me. Thank you, the bird came out well. Yay! Thank you. We gave them, put a little bit of life in them. There's certain, like, I could come back, I could hit that with maybe like some pastel pencils, or, I could come back over it with, glaze over it. Now that I have some of this in, I could glaze over it with some watercolor and kind of add to that, but I'd have to remember that these are rewettable, so that graphite that's underneath will reactivate, and I wouldn't want to muddy them up either. So maybe like just coming over it with some colored pencils or pastel pencils could even bring this guy a little bit more to life. But there we go. So you have the Derivan Liquid Pencil. I had yellow, blue, gray 9. There is also a gray 3, a sepia, and a red. I don't have those, but now that I've seen how these work, I think I would be interested in seeing some more of that. I'm like, whoa, where did I put it? It's over here. It's over here. Let me just, actually, I'm going to bring you towards the desk one more time. One more time. And apparently I never took my little hand off. But I'm going to bring you back to the desk here. Looking at this guy. Now that those are all dry, like, can we focus? Thank you. Look at the yellow. You really see the yellow come through, like, in that big wash, and this texture with the graphite. I think you could use that to your advantage in lots of things. Look at that blue. Now there's where I lifted. So when we put down that blue wash in the beginning, and then I went over it and pulled some of the graphite parts, if you would, off, that's what we got. And I hope you really enjoyed the tip. If you have liquid graphite, are you going to try it? Let me know. Have you tried it? Let me know in the description if you've ever done that before with liquid graphite, or if that was like first time, all brand new. And I know we triggered a hey for Joseph when we grabbed our nib and I'm like, no, it's not on that page. It's on the other paper. It's gone. It's lost. I have papers everywhere. But anyhow, I'm just going to move this out of the way. And these, you see, like, they're not moving. They're not solid. Well, that quinacridone's running, but these are still very much, they're not dry. I'm going to scoop them up and I'm going to put them into some little half pans. I'll label them. I will let you know. We put some into the half pan here. I'll let you know how that turns out. I'm just going to add whatever is left of the gray 9 from the palette into that. I'm just going to kind of move these so you can see. So you can see them. You're going to have very muted colors, but you can absolutely paint stuff with these. If I had more colors, I could do a complete... If I had the red and the sepia, I think and I don't even know that I would need the gray 3. I mean, maybe... I don't know, but look at the gradient. I can get a gradient. I can add more water and bring that down. Of course, that was like when we mixed it with watercolors, thanks to the suggestion and the question by Starving Artist Collective. Look at that Daniel Smith quinacridone rose and gray 9. If you enjoyed this or you got value out of that, smash that thumbs up button if you haven't already. And guys, thank you. I've had like quite a few new subscribers since last week. I know I did throw that out there that it is my goal to get to that 1,000, because there are features that I want to unlock on the channel, and we're getting there. We're getting there slowly but surely. So if you haven't yet subscribed, but it's something you've considered, please do hit that subscribe button. And if you want to join us in the next live stream, ring the bell, and YouTube supposedly, they're going to try to notify you. But huge thank you to everybody who spent this time with me today. I appreciate you for doing so and giving up your time to hang out with me here in the studio. Huge thank you to Joseph and Tara, my 2 mods, and of course links are in the description. Check out the video on Tara's channel. She has challenged me. The gauntlet has been thrown down, and I have accepted, so that's coming. And just be prepared. I am passing the challenge on, so it's coming to somebody out there. Yeah, good times. But check out both of their channels. The links are in the description, and I am going to, of course, there it is, put up another video for you right here. I go right here, and it's right there every time. And have a great week. Have a wonderful weekend. Patrons, I will see you live chat tomorrow if you are available. So join me for that. I will see you tomorrow morning. And if becoming a patron is something that you would consider, of course, that link's in the description. And I know they've put them up in the chat too. So until next time, keep creating, my friends. And I will see you in a video real soon or next week's live stream. Bye.